And were you present when Mr. Jackson was taken into custody?
Yes, I was.
Did you notice anything unusual about his right hand at that time?
Yes, I did. It was bruised.
Was he questioned as to how the bruise got there?
He was asked if he'd been in a fight.
And what was his reply?
He didn't answer. Later, he denied it.
Thank you. No further questions?
Miss Wainwright, do you wish to cross-examine?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Your Honor, the people rest.
Thank you, Mr. Capwell. Witness may step down. Miss Wainwright, please call your first witness.
Your Honor, the defense would like to call Eden Capwell to the stand.
Eden Capwell, please take the stand. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated.
Miss Capwell, you were asked to participate in a voice identification procedure the night the robbery occurred at the Orient Express. Is this correct?
Yes.
And you were asked to listen to 4 or 5 recorded voices all repeating the same phrase, "I've got a gun, give me the money."
Yes.
Did you recognize any of the voices?
Yes, I did. Gus Jackson.
Had you heard it before?
Yes, at the restaurant. I recognized it in the voice identification because it was the one I closest remembered.
Miss Capwell, suppose for a moment that the same recorded voices were played again for you today.
Objection, Your Honor. This line of questioning deals with speculation, not fact.
Sustained.
I'll rephrase. Miss Capwell, has your judgment about the voices changed at all since you participated in the initial voice identification procedure?
Yes, it has.
In what way?
Well, I first assumed, because I recognized Gus's voice, that he was the one who committed the robbery. I no longer believe that to be true.
Why not?
Well, I was made to believe that this identification test is not necessarily infallible. So I no longer trusted my first impression. Plus, there have been certain discoveries that might prove that Gus...
Objection, Your Honor. The answer is not responsive to the question. I move to strike Ms. Capwell's references to these discoveries.
Sustained.
All right, we'll move on to the question of Gus Jackson's comportment earlier that day. It has been stated in court that he was angry, even hostile to you, when you informed him that there would be no further work for him. Do you think that hostile is a fair word?
Objection. The question calls for a conclusion, and a very subjective one at that.
Sustained. Rephrase the question, Miss Wainwright.
We're disappointed, describe Mr. Jackson's attitude.
Yes, Gus had worked very hard that day, and I think that he was obviously hoping that it would pay off with his being asked to take a permanent position with us.
I'm sorry, but I have to object again. Miss Capwell has no direct knowledge of the inner workings of the defendant's mind.
Sustained. Strike the answer from the records. Please confine your question to what the witness might directly observe.
Did Mr. Jackson perform his duties to your satisfaction the day that he was employed by you?
Yes, he did.
Did he complain or object to anything that he was asked to do?
Not at all.
In other words, he was willing to earn his money. He wasn't the kind of man who would opt for an easy score.
No.
Objection.
Thank you. No more questions.
You care to cross-examine, Mr. Capwell?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Miss Capwell, I'm curious about the change of heart you had in regard to the voice identification. How long after the fact did you change your mind?
A couple of days.
And during that period of time, were you in contact with a certain police detective, former police detective by the name of Cruz Castillo?
Objection, Your Honor. I don't see what this has to do with anything.
Your Honor, Mr. Castillo has been involved in a private investigation of this case on his own. I believe I can establish that he has exerted undue influence over Ms. Capwell in regards to the voice ID.
Continue, Mr. Capwell, but do show me that you're going somewhere relevant with this.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Capwell, you have been romantically involved with said Mr. Castillo, have you not?
Objection.
Sustained.
He has been very vocal in his opposition to the voice identification test. Is that true?
He didn't believe it was accurate.
Could you explain his reasoning?
He asked me to listen to another tape and to pick Gus's voice out. I picked the voice, and it wasn't Gus's. In fact, his voice wasn't even on the tape.
So Mr. Castillo conducted his own personal experiment to make his point to you. Is that correct?
Well, it was very effective.
Yes, Mr. Castillo can be very persuasive, especially with one who's so obviously in love with him.
Mason, wait a minute.
Objection.
If Mr. Castillo had not been involved in this investigation, would you have changed your opinion the first time?
Objection, Your Honor. He's badgering the witness.
Sustained.
No further questions.
We'll take a recess till 2 o'clock. All rise.